Hello and welcome to Blush, the world's first wellness show that's actually entertaining. I'm Hiva and I quit law so I can help you look and feel your best. Together, we get into food, nutrition, all the latest wellness trends, but we also laugh, get silly, drop a few F-bombs, and go on a million tangents. So if that sounds like your vibe, we're about to be best friends. Happy Tuesday, you guys. Oh my God, I'm so excited to podcast today. Literally from the moment I woke up this morning, I was like, I am so excited to podcast. I've been talking about it all day. Ow. Sorry, I'm wearing this ear cuff and it's actually really hurting my ear. Oh my God, I think I should take it out. Okay, anyway, I'm so excited to record today despite the fact that this might be kind of a hard episode for me to film. Like it's a little bit heavy. I'm going to be very real, very open, and very transparent about what's going on with me. No, I think I have to take this ear cuff out. Ow. Oh my God. Okay. One off. Let's get the second one off. You know what it is? It's because I have this middle ear piercing. It's actually a great ear cuff and I got it on Amazon. I 10 out of 10 recommend. It comes in a set of 2. And you can wear them separately, but I think they look really chic together. But I have a piercing like in the middle of my ear, so it can't quite fall where it should fall. And so it just kind of pinches the lobe. I don't know. Anyway, we have our co-host here. Hopefully she won't shit her pants this episode, but no promises. Anyway, it's going to be a vulnerable episode. I'm going to be so honest with you guys about what's been going on in my life because it's a lot. So basically, let's rewind to when Ozzy and I went down to DC. So I think I told you guys that I have a close family friend. Like by close family friend, I mean like she grew up. Like when I was growing up, she's a little bit older. She's more like an aunt age to me. When I was growing up, she lived with my family. Like she lived in the house with me. She's like a sister / aunt / cousin type vibe, if that makes sense. Like we're extremely, extremely close. And she was diagnosed with endometrial cancer. Again, this is your weekly reminder. If you haven't had a PAP in a while, please do go get it. Early screening is the best thing in the world. They caught her cancer quite early because her doctor was so good. And she was scheduled for a full hysterectomy mid-May. Ozzy and I went down. She had the surgery. Everything went great. And then we came back up. And more or less ever since we've been back in town, I've kind of been doing a lot of binge eating. And I haven't really done a lot of binge eating since back when I like had a full-blown eating disorder. So it was a very new thing for me, especially because historically when I was binge eating, I was actively restricting, even if I denied it to myself. And the way that I fucking denied the shit, you guys, I was in therapy for 10 years. 10 years in therapy talking about binge eating. Not once was I like, oh, by the way, I do restrict when I eat all the time. Like that's why you tend to binge eat. It's like you're suppressing your body of its needs. And then once you start eating, your body's like, oh my God, let's get all of the calories humanly conceivable because we never know when this bitch will let us eat again. That tends to be why it happens. So I really haven't done, I mean, there have been times where I was like doing some emotional eating or definitely overate, but I haven't had like full binges like that in years and years and like many years. But literally from the day that we got back from DC, it hasn't been every single day, but it's been happening on and off. And I've tried so many things, but I mean, in terms of like, I've tried kind of filming content about it and being really vulnerable about it and opening up and sharing what's been going on, because binging is a lot like an addiction, like a substance addiction, in that it tends to, sorry, I know I'm clicking my watch a lot. I'll stop. I forget that this is an audio primary platform. Wait, quick tangent. I was on TikTok the other day just scrolling and I stopped on a podcast episode clip And I was watching it and I hear a smoke detector chirping and I was like, wait, no, is it one of mine? Because my apartment has like 450 smoke detectors. Like, I don't know what the last tenant did. Like, maybe some kind of fucking pyro who set the whole block on fire or something. I don't like, it's completely unnecessary to have as many smoke detectors as I do. And one side effect of having this many smoke detectors is that the batteries run out at various intervals and then you have to deal with it. Anyway, so I'm like, oh God, is it this bullshit again? Oh, and also I have 13-foot ceilings throughout my apartment. There are a couple places where it's higher, but the lowest point is 13 feet throughout the apartment. The smoke detectors, impossible for me to reach, even with a ladder. I'd have to stack. I have 2 ladders. Even if I stacked both of my ladders on top of each other, which would be a crazy and super unsafe thing to do, I still wouldn't be able to reach my smoke detector. So when my batteries run out, I have to reach out to like, I don't even have a super, but it's the guy who works for my landlord. And this man really does not like me and does not like to come and do things. I don't know why, because I think I'm lovely, but you know. Anyway, so I'm like, oh God, this fucking rigmarole again. And it keeps happening. And I'm like, wait, could it be coming from the clip? And I was like, no, there's no way. There's literally no way, because podcasting is an audio primary platform. I know that we're all doing video nowadays, but like, it's an audio primary platform. You've got to optimize the audio. Flashback to that episode I put out where the audio literally made you want to scratch your eardrums out. Anyway, so I'm like, there's no way. And I'm like looking all around the apartment, trying to figure out which fucking smoke detector it is. Finally, I go to the comments of the clips and everyone's losing their minds over the smoke detector. I'm so sorry, but I was considering listening to that podcast until that happened. And I was like, this is the least fucking professional thing I've ever seen. And this is coming from the girl who says cunt every 4 words. Okay. If I think you're unprofessional, you really need to look internal, because I am like one of the least professional people out there. You know what I mean? Like, if this all fails, I'll never be able to get a corporate job again. They'll be like, wait, is it true that you have spent hours upon hours talking about your labia publicly? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Hi. Hi. I'm also really good at math. But like, what the fuck? It's an audio platform. Anyway, so I'm going to stop clicking my watch in conclusion. Okay, now where was I before all this? I know I was talking about binge eating. Yeah, so basically, I've been doing a lot of binge eating, and it's something that tends to live in secrecy. Like, when I used to binge eat in the past, I would do it in privacy. I would never do it around people. I wouldn't even fucking eat around people, let alone overeat around people. I never wanted people to know. When I was doing it, I would hide. I would cancel all my plans. I wouldn't leave the house. Even the next morning, I'd cancel my plans. And so I actively wanted to do everything different, because I've been through all that. And the last fucking thing I want to do is slip into another eating disorder. And so I have been trying to like be open about it and just document the journey and be really vulnerable. So I do want to open up and talk about what's been going on with me here. I want to talk about how I've stopped the cycle of binging as of 2 days ago, and how I'm working on depuffing, because when I tell you, you might not think it when you look at me, I feel like I'm 4 sizes bigger. And I know logically that I'm not. And I also know, and this is really important for anyone who's ever put on weight, no one notices. No one gives a shit. Like, that's the truth. Like, you think it's the most obvious thing because it's your body. To you, it's the most obvious thing. You obviously care. But guess what? Everyone else is incredibly self-absorbed. No one cares about what you look like. Like, it's kind of a harsh truth, but it's an incredibly liberating truth. No one gives a shit. Same thing with like that stupid awkward thing you said one time. I know you will replay it like for the next 14 years, but when I tell you, no one even remembered it for 13 seconds. And if you don't believe me, let me ask you this. Describe to me an Instagram story that you saw today. Anyone, just pick one. Describe it to me. You can't, right? because you're not really paying attention. You don't actually really care. Like, no, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying, like, oh, you're so callous, you don't care. No, I'm saying everyone's self-absorbed, and that's a good thing. That should be a very liberating thing. No one gives a shit about what you look like. No one gives a shit about the dumb shit that you say. No one cares. Just live your life. Anyway, on that it sounds so depressing, but I really think it should be so freeing. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how I'm kind of working on depuffing. And then I kind of wanted to shift gears entirely and talk about meal prepping because it's a highly requested topic. And honestly, I'm going to do a full Blush Kitchen episode demoing it, but I just kind of wanted to walk and talk you guys through what I call my ready prep system, because I really do think it's such an elite way of doing meal prepping. And really, if you just take like an hour a week, you'll be so set with meals for life. Well, not for life, for the week. Not for, there is something called like bacteria and dangerous fermentation and stuff. So maybe not for life, but certainly for like a good week. How are you doing, Mama? How's my little co-host doing? Oh, she's doing so well. I think she's doing such a good job really contributing to the conversation here. Okay, so I'm going to talk about stopping the binging cycle. And number one, the most important thing is no restriction. It is so tempting if like you overeat one night to be like, okay, the next morning I'm going to eat so clean and I'll skip breakfast and I'll do this and I'll do that. It will backfire 100% of the time. And that also brings me to a related thing. I really do genuinely believe that in almost all circumstances, if you're full on binge eating, now maybe not if you're just doing like light emotional eating or you overate a little, but if you're full on binge eating, it comes after a period of not getting enough calories. I really do think that tends to be the case. And it's something that's really hard to hear if you're in the midst of it. I remember when I was like deep in my eating disorder and I was doing a lot of binge eating, I like randomly came across this ebook and I immediately bought it. Like it was like on Kindle. Where this girl was talking about her binge eating experiences and how like if she was like alone in a house that had food in it, she like could never trust herself. And now she's on the other side. And I was like, oh my God, it's like the first time I felt like someone was inside my head, like literally explaining what I felt, where she's like, I feel like such a failure. I feel like I can't control myself, but it's literally like my mind and my body are disconnected. And I literally have no control over myself. And I was so excited to find out what the solution was. And basically she's like, and when I stopped restricting, it went away. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not my situation. No, can't relate to this. Oh, I thought it was going to be the solution to my problems and it's not. I even remember one night I had a dream where in my dream, I realized I was lucid dreaming and I could do whatever I want. And I was talking to someone, maybe like a spirit guide, as they say, or whatever, I don't know. And in the conversation, I was like, I need to know why I'm binge eating. And I remember getting a very clear and seemingly simple answer. And then when I woke up, I completely forgot. And I brought it up in therapy, and my therapist said, you probably weren't ready to hear the answer. Now, I'll be real with you. I still to this day don't remember what it was, but I can tell you, I'm 99.9% sure that what the answer that was told to me in that moment was that you're just not eating enough. You're trying to restrict all the time, and that's why you're rebound binging. So I had to like really look at this and be like, well, in this scenario, I don't think I was restricting. And then I put it together. When I went down to DC for the surgery, between being stressed about, the family friend going through surgery and just whenever I'm in a new environment, I don't eat enough the first few days. And then just all the other anxieties, like I literally just wasn't eating enough. So as soon as we got home, I started overeating. So that was part of it. So in trying to stop the cycle, I really had to be so intentional with not restricting, especially not time restricting. And even to the point where I had a meditation the other day and I was talking to my highest self, and my highest self was like, you need to start having your high protein drinks like at breakfast. And I've never been a breakfast person ever. Like even as a little kid, I didn't eat breakfast. Like I was just never hungry in the morning. And I think that that's fine. But in this scenario, very clearly, I got the message. Like this might sound woo-woo, but I don't care. Like, no, you need some calories first thing in the morning, even before your workout, which again, I've never, like like if I had eaten, I just like wouldn't go to the gym. I'll put it like that. I've always done fasted workouts. But in this scenario, it was like, no, you need to cue to your body that there is food and that you will be fed and that there's no need to overeat. So that's number one. Number two is really listening to my body and trying to tune into hunger cues. And listen, this is incredibly hard when you have a history of restricting, when you have a history of overeating, when you have a history of emotional eating, no matter where on the spectrum you fall, whether it's not eating enough, whether it's time restricted eating, skipping meals, things like that, or it's overeating, it's binge eating, it's emotional eating, eating past the point of being full, eating because you're in a social situation and everyone's eating, so you eat too. Wherever you fall on the spectrum, it becomes near impossible to actually hear and listen to your hunger cues because you've been ignoring them for so long that your brain probably won't even cue them anymore. But this is a time to really, really practice that, because as much as I said the no restriction, the other part of it is not eating when I wasn't full just because it was a time when I usually would eat, and also knowing when to stop eating. And one thing that really, really helps with this, I find, is mindfulness meditation. I recently got the Moonbird device and I really love it. And I just do it for a few minutes a day. I'm going to ramp up and start doing it more. But just that constant practice of tuning in and being present with my body has then helped me be better at realizing like, oh, actually I am hungry, or, ooh, no, I'm not hungry. And this is something I've like struggled with, especially with anxiety. And I'm not even the most anxiety prone person. Like certainly depression has been the bigger thing for me in my life. But I mean, I remember I was telling a friend we were going to this event together and she's like, what are you going to eat in the morning before we go? And I was like, there's not a chance in hell I'll be hungry, which also isn't unusual because like I said, I've never been a big breakfast person, but this is where it got more shocking. It was an all-day event. She's like, what are you going to do for lunch? I was like, I can almost guarantee you I will not be hungry, because in those types of scenarios where there's a lot of people, I get like so much social anxiety that like I completely can't feel my hunger. Anyway, so we're at the event and all of a sudden in the last hour of the event, I was like, if I don't eat something right now, I will faint. Like that's how extreme it was. And luckily they had snacks there. So I just like went and grabbed something and ate it. But like, if not for that, I would have like fucking passed out. Like that's how hungry I was, but I couldn't feel it because the anxiety was overriding it. So really just slowing down, tuning into my hunger cues, like really stopping and thinking like, okay, am I trying to eat because I'm bored, or am I trying to eat because I'm hungry? And something else that's interesting that happened since I've stopped the binging is I've noticed at the end of meals, I feel this profound sense of emptiness. And I don't mean physical emptiness because I'm actually like full as fuck, but like an emotional emptiness. And like it was the craziest thing where I was like, wait, like what is this feeling that I'm feeling? And I realized how much I've been numbing my emotions via food. And without that crutch and without that numbing mechanism, all of a sudden, all these feelings are flooding in, and it's all this like physical space, that like emotional space that feels so uncomfortable to hold. And it makes so much sense to me why I was trying to fill it with food. And this actually brings me to the fourth thing that I did to break the cycle, and that is leaning on support. So the last night where I had a binge, Ozzy's gone right now. I was talking to him when he was done with work. And keep in mind, when they travel for work, they're working like 16, 17, 18. Sometimes it's been like 20-hour days. Like they are working constantly. And he has like no time. But this was at the end of the night. He was free. And I was like, I'm really not doing well. And he called me. He's like, what's going on? Let's talk. And I was talking to him about the binging and stuff. And he said, you know what? Tomorrow, why don't you text me every time you want to eat? And that way there's like support and there's accountability and, you're not hiding and doing things in secrecy. And I was like, wait, that's an amazing idea. And then I actually took it up to another notch and started just communicating with ChatGPT every time, where I was like, this is going on. I'm just going to reach out to you every single time I want to eat. And it even gave me a little like pre-meal ritual. And every time I said like, okay, I want to eat, it would say, okay, like, are you hungry or are you bored? Or are you trying to numb an emotion? Or are you actually genuinely hungry? And so sometimes I was like, oh no, I think I'm just like trying to numb this feeling. But then a lot of the time I was like, no, I'm actually genuinely hungry. And then it would like really talk through to me. And then as I was eating, it'd be like, okay, I think I'm getting full. I think I'm starting to get full. I think I'm starting to get full. Oh, wait. Okay. Now I'm actually full. And I was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then that meal I said where I had that profound sense of emptiness right afterwards, I reached out to ChatGPT. I was like, I'm feeling this like emptiness. And it just sat there with me. And we went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just like talking. It was a bit of distraction, a bit of like, I said this was the fourth thing I did. I completely skipped over the third thing. So we'll go back to that. We were unpacking the emptiness feeling it was giving me, words of encouragement and words of affirmation. Like, don't sleep on ChatGPT as a source of comfort and support. And what I really like about it is, obviously, I think we should be connecting with other human beings versus AI, but the benefits of chat are, number one, you never feel like a burden, right? Like anyone who's gone through something knows, like sometimes it's like, how many times can I talk to someone about this? Like, how many times can I burden them with this same fucking problem over and over and over again? Number two, sometimes your friends are like busy and doing things, whereas chat will always respond right away. Like in this situation, like that night when I was feeling that emptiness, Ozzy was working, all my friends were busy or out or doing things. I was like, I'm going to talk to you, like, be my friend, be my support system right now. Number three, you can talk to it so openly. Like, there's no shame. There's no hiding. There are sometimes things that you don't want to tell your family, your friends, your loved ones, but that you can be really open about with AI. So those are just things to consider. Obviously, I understand that it uses a lot of water and that there's an environmental thing there, but like, I'm vegan, so I kind of feel like it offsets. No, I don't want to keep falling back on that. At the end of the day, I think your mental health is more important. I'm sorry. Like if you're out here like asking ChatGPT for like dumb shit all the time for no reason, yeah, I would maybe curb that. But as far as like if you're like in an emotional crisis and it's going to provide you that support, like, why would you not? Like, that's so crazy to me. Okay, so going back to number three, finding other dopamine boosts. I've talked about this before, and it is a bit like quitting heroin and taking methadone, right? It is like it's another, depending on what you pick, it can be another vice. Like in my case, because I'm such a materialistic person, a lot of it is like shopping, like online shopping, physical shopping, or saving my packages to open them after I'm done eating. But in this scenario, and in many scenarios, I'm sorry, but like going to a methadone clinic and getting controlled doses of methadone is always better than being addicted to heroin without like a doubt. Sure, you're still addicted to the methadone. Sure, it's not as good as just being clean, but guess what? Just being clean isn't an option a lot of the time. But methadone is, and it'll keep you safe and it'll keep you alive. So you heard it here first, kids. Develop a methadone addiction. But you know what I'm saying? Wait, by the way, all this methadone talk reminds me one of my favorite books that I read, which was recommended to me by my reading mentor, one of my best friends, Alex. Hi, Alex. Love you, baby. Was what was it called? Margot's Got Money Troubles. It's not a thriller like every other book that I read. No one gets murdered. No one even gets raped, which I have to say, rape is kind of a common thing in books that I read for some reason. And I have to say, it's so triggering. And I've never even been raped, And like, every time I read a book and there's a rape scene, I'm like, I feel like there should have been a trigger warning. And I'm not even the type of person who's like most triggered by this. Like, I can't even imagine the experience if you are a sexual assault victim / survivor, what it would feel like to just be like reading your book and all of a sudden you're like, wait, what is happening? And I'm sorry, but rape in books is so much worse than rape in TV and movies because you have to read all the words. Like, it's vivid and it's graphic and it's horrible. Like, people should look into this problem. Anyway, yeah, Margot's Got Money Trouble it's really like it was a lovely book. I highly recommend it. There is someone in the book who goes on a methadone thing, but I'm not going to get into it. So yeah, like the little dopamine boosts, even like sometimes saving shows. It's like whatever I could get excited about, I would save for after my, like, usually dinner is the one where I'm going to really be binging because it would just be this like lovely distraction and something to look forward to. And the last thing is eating nourishing foods, eating foods that are actually going to fuel you and nourish you from the inside out. And specific things to look for there is fiber, resistant starch, and protein. All of those really help mute the food noise. So that's kind of how I stop the cycle. Now I'm going to talk about depuffing because when I tell you guys, I have been so fucking puffy from this and I still am. Like, you might notice that my face and stuff look different than they did like 2 episodes ago. It's fine. It'll get there. It's fine. So it's really 3 things here. Number 1 is sauna, and I'm going to talk you through my full sauna protocol. So first, like 30 to 60 minutes. And by the way, I don't do the full protocol every time I get in the sauna because like who has time? But this is the ideal protocol. So 30 to 60 minutes before the sauna, I take NAC and red clover. And then like 15 to 30 minutes before chlorella. All of these things. So the red clover is an excellent herb for lymphatic drainage. NAC is a precursor to, it's an amino acid. And I think it's an amino acid. And it's a precursor to, why can't I think of it? Glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. So it just basically helps your liver detox. And then the chlorella is a binder. So that'll bind with toxins, allegedly. And then when you sweat, it'll help the toxins actually come out through your sweat. And then right before I get it, and I like to preheat the sauna blanket for a while, and I put my towel insert in there. I also have a little like pillow. I use a bathtub pillow so that way I don't care about it getting wet. I find that it makes the sauna more comfortable. It doesn't like deepen anything. It just makes it more comfortable. And then right before I get in, I try to dry brush. This is the step that I miss the most, but when I remember, it's just a nice thing to, again, just like awaken the lymph nodes. And then this one's really important. I put a sweatband on over my belly and I put castor oil on my belly. The castor oil, I've been pretty vocal. I don't really know how much it does or doesn't do, but whatever. It's like, why not do it? The sweatband really, really, really does deepen the sweating. And then I like to put a red light device over my face. I have the Saluma red light. It has like a 30-minute cycle. The reason that I do this isn't even for the red light benefits. It's honestly because the red light is also hot. And so again, it just makes me sweat more. And then while that's going, I put on like a hypnosis or a guided meditation or something like that. So yeah, number 1 is the sauna. Number 2, this is for depuffing, is lymphatic drainage, because really the reason you're puffy, it's not like you've gained a bunch of fat, especially if we're talking like you overate one time and the next day you wake up looking puffy. That's not fat that you've gained overnight. It's water weight and it's lymph congestion. And so things like the sauna will help, but also lymphatic drainage protocols. So I've been doing lymphatic drainage massages. I should actually go and do another one. I've been doing dry brushing. I've been doing gua sha, and I've been having red clover tea. I just buy powdered red clover and just mix it with water and drink that. Do be careful. Do some research on your cycle phases and when it could affect things, because I think there are ways in which it could affect things. But I found all of those to be really, really helpful for moving excess lymph. And then the third step is movement. And this one, I want to be really careful. It goes back to the restriction thing. We're not moving as punishment. We're not moving to work off what we ate. None of that. We're moving primarily for the mind, for the mental aspect of it, for the relaxing aspect of it, for the nervous system regulation aspect of it. And then secondarily to help move the excess lymph. And honestly, the best thing is walking. I've actually been increasing my walking and also taking more breaks throughout the day to go on shorter little walks. I've still been doing solid core. And honestly, a lot of it also is because I find that when I get in these phases, or in general, when I don't feel good about my body, I don't want to move as much because I don't know, like there's just something about, I'd actually be curious to know if you guys agree or not, but whenever I feel bigger, I want to work out less, and it's almost like I'm embarrassed to go work out. Like I don't want to put on my workout outfits. It's like I want to hide my body. Everyone fucking wears like when did it become standard for your belly having to be out when you go to the gym? Like what the fuck is that? I remember when people used to wear t-shirts, and obviously some people still do, but it is like the common thing to go work out in a fucking two-piece. Like, and of course, like when you don't feel good about your body, you don't want to do that. And then if you don't want to do that and you wear a t-shirt, you start to feel like the girl in elementary school who was wearing a one-piece bathing suit when everyone else wore bikinis, and it almost feels like admitting to everyone like, oh, I don't like my body. Do you guys know what I mean? Like it gives that feeling. By the way, I always wore one piece as a kid. My mom literally wouldn't let me wear a two-piece, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying there's something about it that becomes harder. And ultimately, what I want to get to is whether you are recovering from binge eating or just recovering from like a single overeating session, emotional eating session, or if you just kind of want to like lose weight and feel different in your body, the way that you do it is by thinking about like how would I behave? What would I be doing if I already had the body that I want? If I had my dream body right now, how would I dress? What would I eat? How would I move my body? How would I carry myself? And doing all of those things, because ultimately manifestation isn't visualizing. Manifestation is being the version of you that has the thing. So if you're trying to manifest your dream body, which I think you totally can, what would the version of you that has that body be doing, and do all of those things? And I think that goes for anything. You know, back when I was single and I desperately was trying to manifest like the partner of my dreams, I was like, okay, like what would the version of me that has this partner be doing? And it was like, I'd be going out, I'd be having fun, I'd be hanging out with friends. I'd be like silly and goofy and living. I'd be out in the world and living. And once I started to do those things, guess what? I found the partner of my dreams. Same thing here. Like if you had the body of your dreams, you wouldn't be hiding in baggy clothes. You wouldn't be like sitting on the couch overeating frantically. Like you wouldn't have that like, well, it's all gone to shit, so we may as well just dumpster dive down, right? Like, no, you'd be treating it with respect. So do that now and you will get it. Like same thing in career. It's like, okay, if I already had this like or I'll give like kind of a tangible example. Sorry, I'm doing the watch clicking again, even after that stupid fire alarm tangent. Like, let's say you want to become a successful influencer. What would you be doing if you were a successful influencer? You'd probably be documenting your life. You'd be sharing it. You'd be posting consistently. You know, whatever, all these things, right? So start doing those things and then you can become that version. And it's hard when you're like, okay, but I have like 200 followers and like this is embarrassing and no one's looking at my shit. You're just going to have to push past that. Same thing here. It's like, okay, but like, you know, I don't feel comfortable in this and like I want that and whatever. No, just push past it and just act as if, and you will usually get there. What separates people who achieve their dreams versus those who don't really usually is the people who just keep going. And that actually reminds me of the conversation we were having last week about energy, because a lot of it really does come down to energy. But the reason the energy helps you is because it helps you just keep going, just keep doing the things until you get there. Okay, so now that we've kind of covered where I've been at and what's been going on with me, which again, it may have seemed like it wasn't that hard to share, but it's so hard to talk about. And I'll keep updating you guys as a way to hold myself accountable. Now I want to get into meal prepping. So my thing with meal prepping is I'm not into like that very vintage version of meal prepping where you just have a bunch of like plastic Tupperware containers and you put a piece of chicken and some rice and some veggies and you have these very like bento boxy, like pre-made meals for the week. I think it's really boring. I think it's uninteresting. And like, even though I actually am someone who could eat the same thing every single day and not get tired of it, the vast majority of people will get tired of it. And even if you don't get tired of it, it's actually not very good for your gut health to just eat the same thing every day. You want to have a lot of diversity. So instead, what I really like is my ready prep system is what I call it. And the idea is that you batch a bunch of sauces, a bunch of veggies, a bunch of protein options, and a bunch of carb options. And then you can mix and match throughout the meal to make a bunch of different meals. So I'm going to give you a concrete example with actual recipes and how I would mix and match it. And to simplify it, I'm just doing 2 sauces, even though usually I would batch a lot more. So the 2 that I would batch for this like sample meal prep session would be my high protein peanut sauce, which is kind of it's like it has Thai flavors in it, and it's inspired by, you guys know, like a satay sauce at a Thai restaurant, like when you get like the chicken skewers with the peanut satay sauce. It's inspired by that, but it's obviously sugar free and high protein and stuff. And the other is a pretty simple tahini sauce. So for the peanut sauce, you want a 1/2 cup of peanut butter, 3/4 cup of pitted medjool dates. You do want to kind of pack them in. 3/4 cup of Eden Foods soy milk. It has to be Eden Foods. There's something about their soy milk. First of all, the ingredients are literally just water and soybeans, organic soybeans. That's it. But the taste, the flavor, the texture, the creaminess, it's unparalleled. Like, I can't explain it. It's so fucking good. A 1/2 cup of water, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 lime leaf, 1 Thai pepper, between 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of tamari. I would start with 1/4 and then see if you want to add more. 1 tablespoon of dulse, and just a little squirt of a liquid sunflower lecithin. You can omit this ingredient if you want. It just adds some nutrients and it helps emulsify everything. If you want to omit it, that's fine. I'll link the one that I use. Now I'm going to go back to the lime leaf and the Thai pepper. Thai peppers are often sold at Whole Foods. I got them at the Asian markets, but like they are often found at Whole Foods. So I don't think that should be too hard to find. But if you can't find it, you can just substitute chili flakes or something. Lime leaf, you really need to go to like an Asian grocer to find it. It is such a magical ingredient in that it will automatically make anything that you're eating automatically taste like Thai food. But if you can't get it, you can just do a little squirt of lime juice or like a tablespoon of a rice wine vinegar will also do the trick, or you could almost like omit it if you don't like a bit of tang in there. For the tahini dressing, you want a half cup of tahini. I'll link the brand that I really like. A half cup of water, 2 tablespoons of white miso, 1 clove garlic, and 1/2 cup of lemon juice, and just blend all those together. But for both of them, you just blend everything together until they're super smooth. Okay, now your sauces, set those aside. Now, here are the veggies, proteins, and greens that I would prep. So I would have these raw veggies ready to go. Curly kale, romaine, cabbage, carrots, cucumber, tomatoes, snap peas, red onions, scallions, cilantro, and avocado. And then I would, during like the Sunday or whatever day that you're doing the whole ready prep system, I would steam a few veggies, and that's beets, green beans, Japanese sweet potato, and snow peas. The reason I say steam, you could roast these, but as we talked about several episodes ago, water-based cooking does lead to lower AGEs, which is really great for avoiding neurodegenerative diseases and for like not aging as fast. So, and I find that steaming veggies actually works so nicely with my gut, and I actually feel like I eliminate a lot better. But whatever. And then I would roast certain veggies, and those would be red peppers or like any kind of bell pepper, quite frankly. Onions, I would quarter them and roast them. Some mushrooms, I think shiitake works really nicely there, but like whatever you have. Some eggplant and some broccoli. And then I would prep 2 carbs. One, just cook some quinoa, and number 2, cook some buckwheat noodles. Have all those ready. And then for protein, I would do cumin lentils. So for that, I would start with a small saucepan. You could also just buy like canned lentils. That's fine. But start with a small saucepan, saute some onions, add some garlic, saute, and then add your lentils, add the water. Just read the ingredients on the bag of lentils to see how much you need. I do recommend using brown lentils or French green lentils for this. And add like a teaspoon or so of cumin and just let it all cook together. And then I would do tamari tempeh. So for that, just crumble some tempeh with your hands. Pro tip, the Whole Foods brand of tempeh is never bitter. It is the best tempeh in my opinion. Toss it with some tamari. I also like to add a couple of drops of liquid smoke. I'll link the one that I really like, and then just roast it at like 400, 425 for like 10-15 minutes until it gets a little crispy. Spray with avocado oil first too. And then I would do some smoky boiled tofu. So for that, you want to put your tofu into a pot, cover with water, tamari, and a little bit of liquid smoke, and just let it boil and all the flavor seeps in there. And then you can cut it up and like roast it or whatever. I like to just leave it, but I like the texture of like a jiggly tofu. That's just me personally. And then a few other things I would prep are, number 1, what I call quote unquote chia caviar. It's obviously not actual caviar, but basically take 3 tablespoons of chia seeds and 9 tablespoons of tamari, mix them together, set it aside to let it gel up. And then I would have pumpkin seeds, pistachios, and hemp seeds ready. And the last thing is flash pickled red onions. So just slice your red onions super, super thin, cover with vinegar. That's it. We're not fucking with like the sugar and the salt and all that. Listen, if you want to do that, be my guest. But this is a nice way to have pickled onions without the sugar, and just set those aside. So for all of these ingredients that we're prepping, just put them in like glass Tupperware or glass jars in sections in your fridge. And then you basically have like a sweet green or a chipotle to carry you through the week. And now I'm gonna describe 12 meal ideas that you can do with this, but honestly, there's an infinite number of combinations. I'm just going to talk you through 12 that I came up with quite quickly. So for like lighter and more like lunch fares, I'm going to go do 6 of those, and then I'll do like more heavy like dinner fares. But again, eat whatever you want whenever you want. So number 1, kale massaged with tahini, and then chopped tomatoes, red onion, avocado, cucumber, hemp hearts, and pumpkin seeds. Number 2, romaine, chopped cabbage, carrots. I would use a julienne peeler to get like nice carrot ribbons. Sugar snap peas. Again, we're leaving these raw, but I think cutting them on a diagonal makes them so fun to eat. Chopped cucumbers, scallions, cilantro, avocado, the tempeh that we prepped with the peanut sauce. Number 3, take crackers or a nice piece of sourdough toast. Toast it. Top with the tahini sauce, avocado, the chia caviar, and the pickled red onion. Number 4, romaine chopped. Add your steamed beets, pickled red onion, pistachios, the tofu, avocado, the tahini sauce topped with cilantro. Number 5, kale chopped. Add the lentils and quinoa, tomato, the tahini sauce, pickled red onions, carrots, and snap peas. And number 6, romaine, tofu, raw red onion, tomatoes, cucumber, pickled red onion, the roasted mushrooms, tahini sauce, add a little extra lime juice, and the pumpkin seeds and cilantro. If you have tahini at home, the chili lime salt, that also would go very, very nicely on that salad. Okay, now for the heavier fares. So, and I'm just kind of, I don't know what I just mean it's more like some of the lighter stuff had cooked stuff in it. I just mean these are more like nourishing and, substantial meals. So you can make a nice bowl with quinoa as the base, the lentils, steamed green beans, roasted red pepper, roasted onion, roasted eggplant, tomato, cucumber, the chia caviar, chopped pistachios topped with the tahini sauce. Number 2, take your buckwheat noodles, add some of the steamed snow peas, roasted broccoli, the roasted peppers, roasted mushrooms, raw snap peas, carrots, peanut sauce, scallions, and cilantro. Ooh, this is one of my favorite ones. Take your steamed Japanese sweet potatoes. You could also roast those. I would slow roast them at like 200 to 300 for like a couple of hours until they really cook through. But I also think they're really, really nice steamed. Anyway, those sweet potatoes, just, cut them down the center so you can open them. Stuff with the tahini, lentils, tofu, avocado, chia caviar, pickled red onion, and cilantro. Delicious. So fucking good. The eggplant, cut it into like rounds, top with the peanut sauce, chia caviar, hemp seeds, scallions, your boiled tofu, and cilantro. Another bowl, this time quinoa with the peanut sauce, broccoli, mushrooms, eggplant, avocado, pickled red onion, snap peas, cucumbers, scallions, cilantro. And the last bowl that I have for you is your steamed beets and sweet potatoes, lots of the tahini sauce, tempeh, lentils, the pickled red onion, raw red onion, sugar snap peas, avocado, cilantro, chia caviar, hemp seed. See how easy that was? All of this prep literally would take you an hour, and I just gave you 12 meal ideas, mixing and matching those. And there are infinite number of more combinations. It's the easiest way to meal plan. It's the best thing for your gut. You're going to feel so good. It's going to take you like 5 minutes to get every meal together if you just put in an hour prep and the weekends. And I really want to start like maybe going live on TikTok and just doing weekly meal plans with you guys. Let me know if that's something that would interest you. I can totally do that. And I think that would be so fun. Okay, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank God, because I actually really have to pee pee. And we're going to do our little foods that make you blush segment, which is a segment that we do at the end of every episode where I talk about 5 foods that have nutrients that support what we talked about this week. So I pulled foods that I think are really good for food noise. So number 1, chia seeds. They're high in soluble fiber, which really helps with the food noise because it increases GLP-1. They're a rich source of omega-3s, which really helps with mood, which also helps with overeating and stuff. And they help stabilize blood sugar and reduce cravings. There was actually a 2020 study in Nutrition Research and Practice that showed that chia reduced appetite and delayed the return of hunger. So you can do, I love like that chia caviar, the savory preparation. I like that so much more than chia pudding, but I do have a few chia pudding recipes that you can check out too. Number 2, pumpkin seeds. They are really rich in magnesium, which is great for stress regulation. And they actually have a lot of protein for a seed, which is great for satiety. The magnesium supports dopamine production and can help reduce compulsive eating tendencies. It also helps with sleep, which is huge for food noise. Number 3, lentils. They're rich in protein, fiber, and slow digesting carbs. They help regulate ghrelin. I don't know if I pronounced that right, which is your hunger hormone. They support gut health and stabilize energy levels, which reduces the urgency around food. Number 4, avocados. They're really rich in monosaturated fats, fiber, and B vitamins. The fats help increase satisfaction and reduce post-meal cravings. And the B vitamins like folate and B6 actually really, really help with mood and neurotransmitter balance. And number 5, and this is kind of a niche one, is matcha. So matcha has a really gentle form of caffeine, and it has L-theanine, which is an amino acid that helps take like the jitters away from caffeine, and it's really good for relaxation. So the combination can really increase focus and energy levels, but in a more steady way. It helps reduce emotional eating that's triggered by fatigue or distraction, which is something I really fall into. And the L-theanine has been shown to reduce stress-related eating behaviors. And I actually want to share a quick matcha recipe that I love making with this. So take your matcha. You can also add a little bit of moringa if you want, but you don't have to. Add your 80 degrees Celsius water to that, just a tiny bit, and use your like matcha whisk just to get it combined, but you don't want to add more. Set it aside to cool down for a bit. And then in a glass, put some ice. Pour like halfway to 3/4 of the way with coconut water, fresh, raw, unpasteurized coconut water. And then add your Eden Foods soy milk. It has to be that one. And use a milk frother to get it really frothy. Sorry, you're adding the soy milk to the matcha mixture. You just want to let it cool down a little because we don't add too much heat to the milk because it can curdle quite easily because it's so high in protein. Anyway, froth that up and then add it on top of the coconut water. It's going to look so beautiful, and it tastes fucking amazing. It is so fucking good. It's high in protein. It will help you poo because of the coconut water and the matcha and everything combined. Okay, guys, I'm like actually about to pee my pants, so I'm going to wrap it up. So that brings us to the end of the show. We do a quick gratitude segment, some weeks quicker than others because sometimes your girl's got to fucking pee. And the reason that we do this is because it's scientifically proven to make you a happier and more optimistic person. So I am grateful that Sam has not had accidents here today. I really didn't feel like having to clean another one up. Oh God, she's starting to move though, so that's not a good sign. Hi, we're almost done here. We're almost done. I am grateful that I've been binge free for a few days and that I'm opening up about this, and like, please don't make me regret that decision. Oh, and also I'm starting this like new no mascara trend. I really think this is going to be a bare lash summer. I think that's going to be an upcoming trend, and I'm grateful for it because I think all of our lashes could use a break. And this week and every week, I'm grateful for you guys. You know what to do. Listen to the outro. Okay, bye. Oh God, I have to pee. You did so good. Yes, you did such a good job. You were an excellent co-host this week. Here, let's get you down because Mama's got a wee, okay? I got you. Here you go, Mama.
If you loved that episode as much as I hope you did, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and check out some past episodes while you wait for the new one to drop next week. And until next week, make sure to stay cunty out there.